Howdy youth, hope you're doing well. I'm relaxing in my hammock at home, so I hope you are relaxing too. Today I'll be just touching on a few points that have stood out to me in my readings of late. I've been reading through about another man called Daniel, the Daniel of the Bible. I'm not sure if you've ever read through the book of Daniel before. If you haven't, definitely encourage you to do so. Really interesting book. If you have, then you'll probably know a lot about it already, but I'll just remind you of a few important things. So two things that I want to bring out. Firstly, to the believer, Daniel, he was a God-fearing Jew. He was just set apart in all that he did, and people could not pinpoint anything on him that he did wrong. Just such an incredible example of what it means to be a true follower of God. But he wasn't sitting back in a hammock like I am. He was a captive. He still followed God with his whole heart, with his whole life. So there's a lot we can learn from that. That it doesn't matter what circumstances we're in. Right now we're in some pretty bizarre circumstances with the COVID-19. But God still requires of us our full obedience and for him to be our number one love. So Daniel's a great example of that. So look to him as a foretaste of what Christ ultimately was. So that's my first point. Secondly, to those that maybe aren't followers of Christ yet, through the book of Daniel, we read about a few kings in there. One of them, his name was Nebuchadnezzar. And he was a proud man. He was obviously the ruler of the most powerful nation of the time. And he basically just thought he was the big dog, that he ruled everything. And he even one day just shouted out, like, I'm basically the greatest thing there is. I've built all this, and everyone should basically worship me as king. And God humbled him. He was led out into the wilderness and basically acted like an animal for 7 years. It was quite a crazy story. But ultimately, the point was that Nebuchadnezzar had to fall on his knees and humbly confess, I'm not like the best thing in the world. You are God. And he submitted to him finally. But the warning for us, and what I would encourage you guys to take away, is that don't let it get to that point. Heed the warnings that we can read in the Bible, that we can see in friends and family, and humble yourselves today. So there we are, two things to ponder on, and hope you guys are going well.